You get your new government job, the pay is nice, you like your team, everything's going fine, but then you're told your position is under review. And what that means is they could potentially downgrade your position, putting your salary at risk. That's exactly what's happening at the Department of Veteran Affairs. The VA is the third largest federal agency that currently have something like 400,000 employees, and they're reviewing thousands of jobs to make sure they're classified correctly. Classifying jobs incorrectly, it does happen. You will occasionally see a 2210, but that individual is not doing anything remotely close to IT specialists. Instead, they're doing administrative work, and you know they should not be a 2210. And then you'll find a 0300 that's doing maybe information system security, right? They're doing that. They're doing something more closely aligned with 2210, but they're coded as a 0343 or 0301. So these things, they happen and they need to be reviewed. But where is this happening? What jobs are at risk? Well, the jobs are file clerk, financial account assistant, industrial hygienist, purchasing agent, housekeeping, and boiler plant operator. This is being called a consistency review, and it's in two phases. The results should be coming out at the end of May. With a review like this, you could see some changes. Now, hypothetically, they could upgrade the position. They could see something at, hey, this is a GS-12, but you're really doing GS-13 work, so let's go ahead and upgrade this position. But let's be real here. Let's be a little bit realistic. More often than not, when people hear this coming, they're looking to downgrade. So they could end up downgrading positions, which will result in lower salaries for thousands of people. This review, it wasn't the VA's decision. They were directed by OMB to conduct it. This is because OMB periodically, they do their own investigations and they found issues with how the VA is classifying some of their positions. Now the VHA is underneath the VA and they have told their HR office, for these job series, pull the job announcements. Let's not have the job announcements out there anymore because you don't want to advertise one thing and then in reality, it ends up being incorrect. So while the review is happening, we could see people with their job offers rescinded, or we could see job announcements just completely canceled. The VA expressed willingness to use strategies to supplement the pay for these 6 positions. This would be with recruitment and retention bonuses, maybe even SSR or critical skill incentives. But the thing with these programs, with these extra pay tools, it's not like a light switch. You can't just flip it on and all of a sudden the money's just coming in. It's a process. It's a multiple month process that requires a lot of approval at different levels. Worse still is one of these positions is part of the Big 7. And if you've been to the VA, you know they have a Big 7 when it comes to the jobs that directly impact inpatient care. These are doctors, nurses, also housekeepers. Housekeepers are a part of the Big 7. How much are they making on average? On average, it's below $20 an hour. You can look at Pittsburgh, they're making about $16 an hour. How much further down are they going to go? Are they going to go to $15 an hour? Or do they need to go lower than that? And the people that are actually cleaning up the rooms, they're spending all day cleaning. What does that tell them about their value that they're bringing to the organization? It shows them that their value is not being appreciated. Even though these job announcements are supposed to come down, I managed to find one on usajobs.gov in the VHA. This is in Portland, Oregon at the WG2 grade, earning $19 to $22 an hour. This is also in the direct hire authority. Direct hire usually means that there's a shortage or there's a critical skill in need. That means they need people in this position. They cannot find qualified people to work in this position, but they're still considering a downgrade. And this downgrade will result probably in people leaving the position. So what happens if you can't find the right people? What happens is you rely on contractors to do the same job. And this can benefit the government because they're not paying contractors a pension, or they're not providing the insurance on the same level as a full-time employee. So now we have contracting support. Not just that, but if you know anything about the government, you have to be a U.S. citizen. 99.9% of the time, you need to be a U.S. citizen in order to get a job offer. For contractors, that's not necessarily the case. You could have a green card. You could be a permanent resident. So something like 14 to 15% of the people in this country, they're not citizens. So maybe that opens them up for the job. The VA for the past few years was on a hiring surge. They were bringing in tens of thousands of people into the organization. That's not happening anymore. And you've probably heard in the news, they were pulling offers. They've rescinded offers. I've talked to people directly impacted by that, where they accepted a tentative job offer, and then later to find out there was no job for them. They were devastated. They had already moved certain parts of their life to align with the new job opportunity, to include preparing to move to a different location, only for that job offer to be rescinded. A lot of people think that the VA, they're done with their aggressive growth. They're going to hold steady around 400,000 employees. They're still going to hire people where there are gaps throughout all of their locations when it comes to administrative personnel, but especially the medical professionals. Outside of that, we could see them being supplemented by contractors. But my personal opinion has always been, you never target just one federal agency. I don't even care if you're in a smaller town and you know there's a VA clinic down the road. You shouldn't target just one. Look at the Social Security office. I'm sure you have one of those nearby as well. You might have a military base nearby. Look at DOD. Look at all of them. On usajobs.gov, there's an agency filter. I would not check any of those boxes. Leave all of them. There's hundreds of them. There's over 400 federal agencies. A lot of them you might not have heard of. I've talked to some people that strictly want to work at NASA. If I can't get NASA, I want nothing. And they walk away oftentimes with nothing. I believe your objective, if you're not in the federal government, you want to get into the government. Maybe you want to get into the competitive service, earn your tenure as a status candidate. All right, so if you are looking for a federal government job, there is an agency getting ready to ramp up to hire more. They're going to be experiencing a hiring surge. There's over $100 million devoted to the hiring effort. If you want to know more about that, I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.